welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle if you're new here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about fall fragrance. I have shopped my collection and I figured I'm going to do a few separate videos on one fragrance each so that I can really like dive deep into the fragrance. I love to do that. I hope it's helpful to you, especially if you have to blind buy. I figured, you know, I need to get into the nitty gritty details. So that's what we're going to do. I did not buy a fragrance. That's not to say I won't buy any this season, but right now I just shopped my collection and I picked a fragrance that I think is perfect for introducing fall, and let's get into it. The fragrance we're going to talk about today is Maison Francis Kurkdjian Oud Satin Mood. This fragrance is everything you need and more for fall and probably even winter. Let's go ahead and get the boring stuff out of the way. I'm going to talk about price, size, hoopla, hoopla, hoopla. I know you really want to get into the notes of this fragrance. The price range of this fragrance goes from $185 all the way up to $565. The size ranges from 1.2 fluid ounces to 6.8 fluid ounces, obviously being the $565. The size that I have is a 2.4 fluid ounce and it cost me $300. I also have a 2.4 fluid ounce oil version, which is like a scented body oil. It smells just the same, and this one retails for $95. Typically with this house there is a oil version of each fragrance available, so I like to purchase the oil version, which is definitely less expensive. That way I can try it out before I blind buy, because before this purchase, I did not have a store that carried this this brand of fragrance. So I was basically blind buying. Like with Baccarat, that was a blind buy. Luckily, I loved it. I love that this fragrance house offers a coordinating oil. Another thing that I love about this fragrance house is that you can purchase different varieties of the fragrance. You can do that with a lot of fragrance houses, but this one I feel like offers, you know, a lot more things. So you have the scented body oil, you have the fragrance, you can also purchase a hair mist. Oh yes, you want to take your hair scent to another level. I had no clue that hair mist even existed. That would be something that I am interested in. You can also purchase a body cream, and we all know, or if you don't, I'm gonna let you know that when you want your fragrance to last long and you want it to project more, you want to layer your scents, and that goes for any perfume that you wear. You want to layer your scent. Before we get into the notes of this fragrance, I wanted to introduce it by giving you two words that I feel describe this fragrance, okay? One of them could be a little bit intimidating, but think of it in like a more positive light. So if I had to use two words to describe this fragrance, I would say that it is bewitching and intoxicating. Yes, bewitching. Like when you smell it, you think, what is that? Like, what is it? It's something like I've never smelled before. It's very complex. You cannot just say, oh, that's a floral, oh, that's a woody scent, or you cannot just say, oh, that's a gourmand. It's like you really can't put your finger on it if you don't have like a freaking perfumist. Is it perfumist? Perfumist? Fragrance? Perfumist? I'm gonna go with perfumist. If you don't have a perfumist nose, or like you're not trained, your nose is not trained to pick up on certain ingredients, you're never gonna know what it is. So those are the two words, bewitching and intoxicating. The first note we have is violet. Violet is a flower. However, you don't get the scent from the flower itself. It actually comes from the leaves and the stem. Little fun fact for you. This note definitely is going to lend your more powdery smell that you get from this fragrance. This fragrance does have like that powdery aspect of it. I initially thought it was on the dry down, but it is a top note. Violet is like a top note in this fragrance, so technically I'm smelling it first whiff. And I love a nice powdery scent. I don't know, I just feel like they're different. They're not like your typical like vanilla sweet. They're not like your typical floral. Violet is a different kind of floral that gives you that nice powdery smell. Violet also works well with the rose scents, and we'll get into that as well. The next note in Oud Satin Mood is geranium from Egypt. It gives it like a lemony, minty, green kind of smell. It does lean the fragrance to more of a masculine scent, but it's not a masculine scent. Like, it's not, oh, this is specifically for men. This scent can go either way. My husband loves how this smells. I've smelled it on him and I love it on him. He loves it on me. This is definitely a co-ed situation. The geranium in this scent has similar compounds to that of rose oil, which we'll also get into a little later. Hang with me, hang with me. The next note is going to be Oud from Laos, or Laotian Oud. Girl, this gives it that smoky, woody, honeyed, sweet scent that is like most captivating. Like, this particular oud gives the scent a more musky, leathery scent. So good. And not to mention, oud is one of the most expensive ingredients you can have in fragrance. So girl, if you got this, you expensive. Francis Kurkdjian has incorporated 2 rose notes into this fragrance, and he put it in the heart and the base note. The first rose scent is going to be Centifolia Rose. That gives more of like a sweet, honeyed scent. The next rose note is the Damascena Rose, and that gives more of a spicy but sweet rose scent. I had no clue that rose can be spicy. So when I was researching the notes of this fragrance, I definitely learned something about rose scent, and I love a nice rose scent. Remember I was telling you to hold tight? Well, I hope you held tight, because I'm about to tell you how intricate and collaborative these notes are. The rose notes in this fragrance play so well with the violet and the geranium notes. More specifically, the geranium note, because geranium contains the similar compounds to rose oil. So when you pair geranium and rose notes together, you're definitely getting like the ultimate concoction. Like, it just intensifies the rose note in this fragrance. And I tell you guys all the time that I love rose, and I think this is why I'm so drawn to this fragrance. Like, this fragrance is like nothing else I've ever smelled before. There's not a dupe out there for it. At least I haven't come across it. I haven't put my nose on anything similar. So if you have a chance to go ahead and try out like a sample from your local counter, beauty counter, please go ahead and try it, because I promise you there's nothing like it. The next note, I know that was good, right? But it gets better. It gets better. The next note is the Vanilla Amber Accord. Now this note is comprised of 2 notes, one of them being Cistus labdanum. I know, sounds like something sciencey, but Cistus labdanum is an ingredient used to make most amber scented fragrances. It has a woody but sweet scent to it. It's very dry and leathery, which I think that this Cistus labdanum note helps the violet, because it's like a dry woody scent, and violet is very powdery and powder is dry. I'm just kind of like putting this all together in my head. I don't know if it makes sense, so fragrance police, please don't come for me. I'm just using my logic to describe to you why I think this fragrance is so complex, but everything just works together so well. So the next part of this Amber Accord is going to be vanilla. And of course, we all know vanilla. It's sweet, dessert-like, gourmand-like. We know vanilla. We know her. Okay, she's not new here. So when you combine the Cistus labdanum with the vanilla, it gives you this warm, like comforting feeling and smell. Almost like walking into grandma's house after she baked a batch of cookies, but not, she baked like diet cookies. So they smell good, but they don't taste sweet. Okay, so the next and final note is going to be cinnamon from Sri Lanka. First of all, I love saying Sri Lanka. I think it's like a very cool I don't know, I like saying it, Sri Lanka. Cinnamon from Sri Lanka. So anything cinnamon is gonna give you that nice sweet smell, because obviously we use cinnamon in our baked goods and it's always paired with something sweet. Cinnamon is usually blended with like amber accords, but Francis Krejan, he's so fancy because he blended it with the floral notes to give it more of like a heightened experience, and I love it. The only way I can describe that cinnamony aspect, it's like a sharpness. It's a sharpness, and I'm pretty sure that's where that's coming from. It has to be coming from the cinnamon. Now granted, this does not smell like cinnamon, and I didn't know cinnamon was here until I was looking up the notes. So please don't think that if you purchase this fragrance that you'll be smelling like a cinnamon delight. That is not the case at all. So now for the fun part and the last part of this video, I'm going to be suggesting two pairings that I suggest for this fragrance. And I am a frequent mixer of my fragrance. I will mix 2 and 3 together, but I do recommend that you kind of know your notes, and that way you're not pairing like the wrong thing with the wrong thing and smelling like the wrong thing. So let's get into it. The first pairing that we have is going to be Oud Satin Mood with Byredo Rose Noir. Now y'all know the story behind this Rose Noir. If you haven't, I'll link the video right up here in a card for you. The notes that these two have in common are going to be violet, musk, rose, and then the Cistus labdanum, which is going to be that ambery type scent. Okay, when you pair these two together, the Rose Noir deepens and sweetens the Oud Satin Mood. Oud Satin Mood, even though it does have a little bit of sweetness to it, it's not like sweet. So if you're into more like sweet scents, gourmand scents, you might want to kind of pair these two together to make this one more sweet, more like a warm floral, you know, if you get what I'm saying. The next pairing that I have is going to be Oud Satin Mood and Jo Malone Dark Amber and Ginger Lily. This fragrance is going to brighten and freshen up the Oud Satin Mood. This can be a little dark, like it can lean a little dark, like a little heavy. So this is going to, the Dark Amber and Ginger Lily is going to kind of like pick it up. Ginger definitely is a brightener. It wakes you up. It has a little bit of spice, a lot of freshness to it. So just think about adding ginger to something that's kind of like sweet and warm. It's a beautiful combination, almost like opposites attract. Like it's magnificent. I promise you, this is a wonderful combination. That ends our review of Maison Francis Krejan Oud Satin Mood. I absolutely love it. 10 out of 10 recommend. If you are into something more bright, more light, this is not for you. But if you want to introduce yourself with your fragrance, please grab this one, or at least put your nose on it and let me know if you've smelled it in the comments and what you think about it. Is it your thing? Like, what are you into? Is that your thing, or like, hell nah? But I hope this video was helpful, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.